We have like the same hairdo right now. Hey guys, it's Morgan from The Hair Journey, and this is my husband Patrick.
Hello everybody.
From?
Oh, I'm from Alabama.
Yes, he's from Alabama. Anyway, today's video is about 3 things that I learned about how to care for my hair from him, and
3 things I've learned about how to care for my hair from her.
Yeah, so here goes. Okay, so as you can see, we are different ethnicities. I am black and Patrick is
White, Hawaiian, and Chinese.
So because we are different ethnicities, we have different hair. However, I found out after we got married and all of our hair products and stuff were kind of in the same place, and I was watching Patrick do his hair and I was doing my hair, I'm like, there are actually some similarities and there are actually some things that I've learned from him and he's learned from me. So we're gonna start with what I've learned from him, and here goes. Number 1 is pomade. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that wrong, but I didn't know what pomade was. I never heard of it before. But Patrick started using it and I actually brought some of yours.
Oh, look at you.
Let
me explain this for you.
Yes, okay, explain.
So this is the tea tree shaving cream. It is by far the best pomade you could ever buy because it allows your hair to be texturized without being as hard as a rock all day. Yeah,
so I was like, this is very interesting. Let me try this stuff out. So I started trying it out, and even though it looks different, I found that the results were practically the same as when I use edge control, which is targeted toward, women like me. So I was pretty shocked in terms of like how similar the products were, but yet how different they were. And the second thing I learned from Patrick is to apply products while it's still wet. So with like pomade and gel and things like that, I noticed that he would always put his gel in his hair or whatever, like when it was still wet. And I was like, why are you doing that? So whether I was wearing my hair straight or curly, I started actually putting in pomade or edge control or gel while it was still wet. And I noticed that it wasn't as near as hard and it had this, much nicer texture. So. Number 3, you do not have to use a comb when you're styling your hair. And this was a bad habit for me because I grew up always having like a million brushes and a million combs everywhere, and I would never do anything to my hair unless I had a brush or a comb, especially a brush. But what I found with Patrick, with whether his hair was really short or if it was like the length it is now, is that he would just work his hands through it while it was wet with the product. So I started doing that, especially now that my hair is short, and I've noticed that I was not losing as much hair because combs and brushes sometimes can take your hair out if you use them too much or while your hair is really dry. So yeah, I started doing that and I noticed a huge difference, and it's not really done right now, but yeah. So Patrick, what have you learned from me about your hair?
What I've learned, the first out of the 3, is that anytime I go to get my hair cut, Morgan always tells me don't thin out your hair. And I always wonder why, because I feel like I always have very thick hair and it can be bushy, and so I'll get it thinned out and then it doesn't come out the exact way I want it to look. So the number 1 thing I learned was don't thin your hair out, because the way that my hair is and the way that it
looks nice.
Yeah.
Your natural texture
it doesn't
is
need to
nice.
be thinned out. So the second thing I learned from Morgan is that even though we said previously don't use a comb, it is okay to use a comb. It's good to use a comb to try and fix it and get it in place. And I've always kind of been against using a comb just because I didn't like them. And again, that's just more time I have to stand in front of a mirror, fixing my hair. So I have learned and I have been comfortable with just using a comb. Okay, so this last one, I have to sort of give a disclaimer. This wasn't anything where Patrick was like, ooh, I'm gonna start doing this. Like, I was doing it for my hair, and now Patrick has a style where it's short on the sides and it's long on top. So I was recommended, I was like, maybe if you want to try to keep your hair in place, you should try to wrap your hair. Yes. Now, what wrapping your hair is you wear something that holds your hair in place. So Morgan would wear a wrap on her head every day, or every night, I should say. And I was always wondering what and why she wore that. And now that I have long hair, I kind of understand a lot more because it helps keep my hair in place.
And this is long for him, by the way. Normally,
this is
like,
very long.
he has like a buzz cut.
This is like the longest I've ever grown my hair.
Yeah.
But I was always like, no, I'm not gonna wrap my hair. Like, this just isn't gonna happen. I don't feel like doing that. Well, now that my hair is long, I've miraculously started wearing a lot more hats. And the very reason why I wear hats is to wrap my hair.
Yes.
And so Morgan has taught me that wearing a hat for the function of keep your hair in place is the same thing as wrapping your hair.
Come closer, we have to do outro.
An outro.
So yeah, these are just some tips that we've learned just being in an interracial marriage about hair. And of course, we have different hair. But, you know, there's a way to look at your hair and look at your spouse's hair, and you can learn from each other, because of course I have woman hair and he has man hair, but at the end of the day we both have hair and we have to take care of it.